I remember having to tell the team that I had a stroke. And I just remember, like, until this day, I still have this huge shadow of shame that overwhelms me or takes over me when I talk about this, because the stroke is a proof that it's a statement that I didn't think of myself.
And there's a point where you just hit a brick wall.
You're probably gonna die in 3 months.
Hey guys, welcome back to Moms Unscripted by Motherhood.com.my. Today with us we have Anissa Safia, an author of 2 children's books, a mother of 2, who is here with us today to speak about a variety of topics that is going to resonate with many moms out there. But first and foremost, thank you for being here, Anissa.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Okay, so Anissa and I, we have been dribbling around topics that it's very important for us to speak about.
Yes.
One of it is basically acknowledging that there are mothers out there that are suffering in many ways beyond what we can imagine, and that's what I want to talk about today. What happens when you don't have a village? What happens when you don't have someone to fall back to?
Yeah. So, most of the people that know me know that I grew up with my parents and siblings not staying in Malaysia, not even in KL, but not even in Malaysia. So I don't really have a village that a lot of Malaysians have, where they stay with their parents or they stay with their in-laws, and so basically me and my husband are actually we stayed in our own apartments. And I remember, like, when I had my first daughter, Layla, it was really it was a real struggle. Like, when I look at my friends or family that have a village, it's such a huge blessing, actually, because people like me and so many people that I know, we don't have a village whereby, sometimes that village can be made or created. Like, if you had a lot of finance, if you had a lot of money, and then you can, hire nannies, you can hire help, you can, send your kids to daycare or anything like that. There's so many facilities now facilitating that. So when you don't have that much, you're a fresh grad, you just got married, and you're earning bare minimum, and it's just like it was a lot, actually, because being a mother, being a parent, it's actually a huge it's a never-ending job, basically.
Of course, yeah.
So one thing that I would say is, if you don't have a village, honestly, try to cut down what you, for example, don't over plan things. If it's not possible, you don't have to make everything perfect. That's one of the things that I try to emphasize everywhere that I go. I try to make a point that perfectionism does not exist. Don't put yourself on such a high level of expectation, especially for it being your first child.
Yep.
It's don't put that kind of pressure. You don't have a village, you just work with what you have. Yeah.
So, like, we of course, Anissa and I, we met before this. We exchanged stories just to kind of get to know each other, so this is not our first time meeting. And when we met previously, we also spoke about what basically causes a mom or a parent to end up in this phase, the phase where they hit like a brick wall. We went through issues like financial constraints. We went through like unstable relationships, unreliable partners. Unreliable comes from, it is different to each is own. Do you want to
Yeah. So basically, okay, just a little background, right? I'm the middle child in my family, and my husband is the middle child of his family, and we both had our next sibling after us of like 6-7 years. So we were like that last child, but like anak bongsu, but not anak
last,
bongsu.
But bukan last tapi macam last. Manja is that middle child thing.
So we both were actually raised with not having to be responsible for much.
Okay.
And just that when we had our first child, right? The hitting the wall part, I would say, is just like trying to learn from scratch, like the survival mode. Like even before we got married, we were both, well, I was living on my own already, and my husband was living with his parents. So it was really different because I'm like very independent.
Yep.
So when I had my baby, I kind of already knew what to do. But obviously, I had no idea the anxiety. I never had anxiety issues before having my first child. So all this these feelings of nervousness, anxiousness, it really came with my first daughter. And okay, this is something that I advise all moms. Like first off, right? Before you become a mom, honestly, just figure out if you want to become a mom but sometimes, like in my case, I was not that girl that like dreamt to be a mom and a wife my whole life. I always knew that I was going to be financially independent and do my own thing. But
You were a go-getter.
yeah. So when I got married, I got married like 26, quite young, I think, especially for this generation. And then when I got my baby, it was after another year of marriage, and I didn't know that this feeling was going to come, but when I had my first baby, I knew that I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, but I could never imagine that kind of life because of the financial, how do you say it? With
Hiccups.
me and my husband, we don't want to take money from our parents. We could have, but it's just a life choice. We don't want to. So the pressure we put on ourselves. I want to be financially independent, and he does as well. So I just remember like thinking, but I have no choice. I have no choice. I have no choice. So going back to the fact that the financial strength, not having a village, and then
unreliable
the pressure,
partners,
unreliable
unhealthy
partners,
relationships.
I mean, it was really heavy on our marriage as well. I mean, on his part too. Also, I also have my part to blame because there was nothing that he could do, right? So it was always me like doing everything the way that I felt was right. Yeah.
So macam like okay, there was a specific term you wanted to speak about. So it was about hitting the brick wall.
Oh
so
yes.
you go through this. Of course, there's difficulties, and there's a
Yeah.
point where you just hit a brick wall. As a parent, you know, let's get into it if you're comfortable.
Sure.
This is a big one for you.
So me and my husband, so I've always known that I would work, and I worked hard, and I worked my butt off with climbing the corporate ladder.
Yes.
That's PG, right? And me and him, we were like trying to climb the corporate ladder, and we kind of like put Layla, my eldest daughter, in the back seat for that, because we always thought that money could provide. Money is king, and we need to make money. And I just remember just working and not being that much of a loving mom or much of a present mom because we work long hours. And I just remember that I started to see a therapist. I knew that there was something wrong. I knew that I was unhappy. I knew that honestly, at the end of the day, I knew that I wanted to be at home with my daughter. I wanted to be the person that takes care of my baby. But I felt that, or I convinced myself that, no, this is all that you know. You know how to work, you know how to make money. And so one night I had, there was signs I had a stroke. So in my sleep, I fell asleep, and next day I went to the hospital, and I did an MRI, and I found out that I had a stroke. Just to share with everyone.
Of course.
I find it that it's really important to just share the signs of having a stroke at 30. I had a stroke at 30, and there was no signs. I have no diabetes. I don't have high cholesterol, even though my body, like I'm a big girl. But I don't have high cholesterol, I don't have diabetes, I don't have high blood pressure, I don't have low blood pressure. These are all common factors to having a stroke, especially if you're young. This is considered young. And I just remember going through so much tests. Like I did the endoscopy to see my heart, like through my throat, and to see the back of my heart, the front of my heart. I did so many blood tests for immunity. What do you call it? Immune disease. That could
autoimmune disease, just to find out what's going on.
Yes, that could be one of the factors that you can have a stroke, or if you have a small hole in your heart that a lot of people don't know about. Hailey Bieber had a stroke also. And whatever she faced, it was exactly what I faced. But hers, she found out that she had a small hole in her heart. She did the bubble test, which is they blow a small amount of air, and then if there's a hole in your heart, there will be a small bubble that comes out of the heart.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's things to look out for.
Look out for. So one of the signs for my stroke leading up to the stroke was vertigo, dizziness. I remember that one time I actually had a warning before the stroke, which could have stopped me from having a stroke, which is a TIA, which is basically, I was in the kitchen. This was on a weekend. I was in the kitchen and I was making breakfast, and I remember just like suddenly my knees went weak. I can't see myself, so I don't even remember like my face falling, but that's apparently a typical symptom. But for me, my left knee went weak, and I just fell down, and I told my husband to come, and he picked me up and put me on the bed, and I remember my whole body pede. I remember pede, like I was crawling on my bed and I couldn't lie down because it was so pede. And I just remember, this is a true story, I did a sujood and I was praying. I was just praying that, God, I don't even pray 5 times a day. I need to fix this about myself, please. Just like one more chance. And then I got up. I don't know how I got dressed, because the part of my brain that had a stroke was the part that controls balance. And so I couldn't walk. My husband had to carry me, and then we went straight to the ER, and I was pushed on the wheelchair the whole time. And then the doctor did a test on me. I couldn't even walk straight. I was walking on the right side. And then, but subhanallah, alhamdulillah, a few hours later, after I was admitted and everything, I was recovered.
Everything was fine.
So you can't recover from a stroke because you have a scar there. It's permanent. Like a part of my brain died. But alhamdulillah, the whole balance thing, so I can function. I was so happy. I went jogging around the hospital that I was in.
So if you were to go and get it checked again, there's a scar. It's permanent.
So when you check if you have a stroke, there will be a white shadow.
Okay.
So your brain is supposed to be like a dark gray.
Okay.
But that part of the X-ray, you will see white.
Okay.
So he was showing me, and I just remember, right, after doing all the tests and getting all the specialists that I needed to have, I just remember the specialists, all those doctors was telling me, I'm sorry, there's no medical cause. So conclusively, we can say theoretically, it's your mental well-being. And I'm like, what? What the hell?
It's not possible.
What are you talking about? What mental health? And then, because I mentioned earlier that I was going for therapy like 3 months before my stroke.
Yes.
And I knew that I wasn't happy, but I was fighting that war within myself that, no, you have to be happy with working. But I knew in my heart I wanted to be with my baby. So I became a housewife. And but even that, even after 1.5 years it took me. After the stroke, you're supposed to be like, okay, decide,
this
change
is
your life.
Sign. This is
I did gradually change my life, but it took me to jump so many jobs after that to realize, oh, I really don't want this. So I stopped corporate and became a stay-at-home mom. And I just remember these two things. People talk about working mom and stay-at-home mom,
Yes.
both stress, right?
Yes.
But only one for me was heartbreaking, and that was being a working mom. Some mom don't find stay-at-home mom, like they would say stay-at-home mom is very stressful or much stressful than working. Yes, because working mom, you can have your cup of tea with your friends.
Betul.
You can have your lunch in peace. You
Yes.
can go to the toilet in peace.
You have that break, to continue your life as per usual.
But as stay-at-home mom, there is a lot of stress because you're always on demand. They will always be tugging on you. But stay-at-home mom was not heartbreaking. It's very fulfilling to me. And I don't know if I can mention this, but like even in Islam, the highest rank that Allah looks at you is as a stay-at-home mom. And I'm not saying that working mom has no good vision to God.
This is your personal experience and how you want your life to
it
be.
It is the most,
everyone
it's
is different.
the least rewarding because you don't get a thank you. You don't get.
They don't know how to say that.
You don't get thank yous that corporations do.
Betul.
You don't get rewards or pay, but the happiness is inside.
You get to be there.
Yeah, you get to witness. There's so many good things about staying at home mom, but yeah, it's not all that gloomy being a stay-at-home mom, but it is lonely, and I know that.
It's something we will talk about later as well.
Yeah.
But of course, I was a go-getter too, and then I became a stay-at-home mom. But for me, it was a little bit different because I think I've always required that financial freedom.
Yeah.
And no matter how it's okay, like they say, your husband's money is your money and all that.
Yeah.
Tapi when you become a stay-at-home mom, you macam tak biasa.
Yes.
So you'd rather just not ask.
Yeah.
And you'd rather just kind of live on, but that causes like a strain, for yourself, because if you've always been used to getting whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want, it's different. So for me, being a stay-at-home mom, I think I love being a stay-at-home mom, but I need other factors included in. I need to be financially free. I need to. I don't know how I'm gonna get that, but Alhamdulillah, now I'm a stay-at-home working mom.
Yeah.
That's a whole other different.
I feel like
that's a dream,
Yeah,
that's the
like
dream,
that's
honestly.
A dream. Yeah.
So Alhamdulillah, I'm a stay-at-home working mom, and I feel it's the balance of both worlds.
Yeah.
And it's been good. But okay, enough about me. Let's talk about we know that you had a stroke, and of course, as a go-getter, for a little while there, you kind of have to sit back, and kind of see the world in a different lens.
Yeah.
How was it like for you? I mean, coping with this new thing, knowing that something had happened, something major like that had happened. Like starting anew,
I remember, because I was working, right? I remember having to tell the team that I had a stroke. And I just remember, until this day, I still have this huge shadow of shame that overwhelms me or takes over me when I talk about this, because the stroke is a proof that it's a statement that I didn't think of myself. I never thought of myself, in fact. As soon as I graduated, I knew that, because I remember the reason why I wanted to be financially independent was when I started to see my dad's bills, and I know that my dad wasn't born rich. So I knew that he really worked hard, and my mom really worked hard to balance things at home so that he can go and find a good living for us. So only when I grew up and I know the possibilities, like I have pay and then my husband also has a pay, I just know that whatever my dad reached is something that was a lot of hard work. So I just know that I had to really work hard in my life. So I just remember when the stroke happened, it just brought me back to myself. And honestly, it's now after 5 years since my stroke, it's a huge blessing. I know that I was I'm actually a very stubborn person. So I mean, if nobody could have changed me. It's only Allah. I mean, only God could. It was a miracle. I find it to be one of the biggest blessing in my life, or else I would have lived a life that I wasn't happy with, and time would have just passed. And my kids are grown, and I'm not happy. So alhamdulillah, like that stroke, walaupun it's so shameful to me, it's so embarrassing. It's so heartbreaking to me that much I really never. I thought I did. I mean, I had my me time. I loved fashion. I mean, I still do. And, you know, I got to buy anything that my daughter wanted. I got to do and see. I got a lot of things and stuff and experience. But I never got that fulfillment that I wanted, which is to care for my own kids. So, yeah, I just think that the biggest
blessing
was the stroke, because I could not have been a different person if it wasn't for that. I mean, it was a life or death. Like, I remember in the hospital admitted, I was like, what the hell is a stroke? First of all, I thought it was a heart attack. I always get confused, heart attack and stroke.
Yep.
But stroke is lack of oxygen in the brain. Heart attack is the heart.
heart.
So I just remember Googling it, and it says that you're probably gonna die in 3 months.
So don't Google symptoms. Anissa, come on, don't Google symptoms, Anissa.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
And you know what? Like, when you ask the doctors, they'll be like, well, there's a higher chance that you will get a bigger stroke in 3 months. Yes, that's why we have to give you 2 months MC. Oh my God. So like Google would say that you die, and then your doctor is telling you you might get paralyzed for life. So you have to juggle yourself, yeah. I mean, I was forced to take care of myself. I was like, no, but okay, where's Layla? And like my siblings took her in and, you know, cared for her and everything. I was like, no, can you bring her? Like, I need, like, she needs her nap time, whatever. They're like, Anissa, please stop. Just take this as your break. Like, I macam tak boleh fathom that I need a break.
It's just not normal to you. I think it's just your body was made different, you know, your mind was made different.
Yeah.
But alhamdulillah, you're here with us today.
Yeah,
it's been a journey. I don't know. Have you spoken about this before publicly?
I did one video once. It's on my IG. I just stuck it there. I never watched it again after I recorded it. Tu pun I cried a few times and I had to record it. But this is probably
somewhat of an exclusive in that sense. Oof, flattered.
Yeah.
But that was a lot. But I think
sorry, can I just also add on that I was in such a denial of the stroke because I was one of those people that was like, no, mentally and emotionally I can control myself. As long as I don't have medical problems, it's fine.
It's within your control.
No, man, like your mental and emotional health, like I know it's not like this new trend, it's an actual thing. The person next to me that had a stroke after me, he was 16 and and apparently he was doing his SPM.
He had a stroke.
So it was stress. 16 years old, what penyakit can you have? I mean, I'm sure, like, diabetes and all that.
There's possibilities, but
yes.
stress is actually
he was like me. He didn't have any medical issues, but he was really stressed. And, you know, you hear all these stories like, the person studied so hard, or they traveled so much, or they went to the gym too hard, and suddenly they come home and they just pass.
Yes, I've heard of that.
Because I had my actual stroke. That was a TIA, the one that I dropped. In the kitchen, but the actual stroke was in my sleep. I woke up with a vertigo.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I think, like, all in all, we could clearly say stress is one of the greatest factors, and it's just that is how many moms it's stress. It's stress, you know. But
I mean, a lot of women, they have to do it, Mimon. They have no choice. I felt like I was one of that. And I didn't take help. I did not take help.
And I mean, like, oftentimes you go through people, or you go through like portals and stuff, and they tell you, find a community.
Yeah.
Lean on your partner, or join a mom club. And what else? What else is there?
I mean, you know, when they say these things, it's so easy to say than done, because when you're so busy and you have to rely on yourself to, you know, after long work hours, and then you have to take care of the kids, bring them home from school or
Yes,
nursery,
yes.
and then shower them, feed them. But by the time, before you know it, it's already bedtime. You don't even have me time. I don't remember having me time. Because you are the sole provider. If you're not at office, you're with the kid, and kids are a handful.
And when is this mom club going to happen,
Yeah.
So I mean, that's the thing. Of course, like without a doubt, having mom clubs help. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
if I'm being entirely honest, meeting you helped because I don't go out as often,
Yeah.
I met you once and it helped.
Yeah.
But Safi, yes, mom clubs, and of course, reading, being in communities of like-minded mothers do help,
Yeah.
going out there. Of course, for some mothers, they could rely on their partners, but I think it's just kind of like a reminder for everyone out there that there are mothers out there that don't have access to these communities, don't have
Yes.
access to these mom clubs, don't have
Yeah.
access to a reliable partner.
Yeah.
And it's just basically a call to just be kinder, to not feel like every situation requires your advice.
Yes.
Sometimes it's just listen.
Yeah.
Kan?
Yes.
So I think that was great, Anissa. Thank you so much for sharing
Thank you so
about
much.
those personal aspects of your life. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. This is Anissa Safia. I'm Isha, and this is Moms Unscripted by motherhood.com.my.